Good morning, students. Today we'll see next topic, that is brainstorming, and this you will get it for 6 marks. To look into brainstorming is a session where it is a creative problem solving technique. See, in brainstorming session, a group of members will deliberate upon the given problem and they engage in spontaneous contribution of ideas. Brainstorming is one of the most common types of, it's an informal idea generation technique used in most of the organization. In brainstorming, it is a process where a problem is put forth in front of a group of members whom are selected for a brainstorming process, and hence they are asked to work out or for a free flow of thoughts on solving a particular problem. And for this brainstorming, we have a process and which goes on like this. We have a step-by-step process. First step is provide a background information. The very first step, and it is very much necessary, is providing information. See, before the commencement of a brainstorming session, it is very much essential for a moderator or a team leader to explain the group members. Group members here is the members who have selected for a brainstorming session. So it is a duty of the moderator to explain about a problem to his group members about and what he is expecting from them while deliberating. He should clearly tell the members what exactly he would like to achieve at the end of a brainstorming session. And at this stage, the moderator should clearly specify the purpose of the discussion. So this is all about first step. And next step is defining a problem. The next step is brainstorming is defining a problem. This is to clearly state the problem on which the discussion should take place. See, the moderator should specify the framework for the discussion underlying the certain limitations. And these limitations may be like, budget constraints, material constraints, or a time constraint too. Once the limitations are known to them, the participants will have a clear framework for thinking and getting creative ideas to match the constraints specified by a moderator. Here the moderator should ask the participants to generate SMART ideas. SMART here is S stands for specific, M is measurable, A is attainable, R is relevant, and T stands for time bound. So the moderator should always ask his participants to generate SMART ideas. And following to this, we have the next step, which is generating ideas. This is a very much important stage or a step in brainstorming process where the participants should really think out of the box in getting challenging ideas. See, while generating ideas, participants are expected to make most of the possible assumptions that influence the decision making in the organization. So, moderators should ask the participants to write down all the assumption, that is the possible assumption made by them before generating ideas. And while generating ideas here, the participants are expected to ask questions to themselves regarding the idea generated by them in the thinking process. The frequent questioning here, where the participants will ask questions for themselves, this helps them to refine their idea and to come out with a better one. And also, while generating ideas, the participants should start general and end with a specific ideas. Each participant should start with the general ideas and he has to end up with the specific ideas. The moderator should encourage here the individuals to think over the group discussion. And the fourth step is selection of ideas. All the participants presenting their ideas, workable and rewarding ideas, should be selected. The ideas may be selected in consultation with all the participants in the brainstorming process, or a moderator may himself decide on his own. This will be a final idea for problem solving. And next is each idea generated has advantages and disadvantages, and this has to be considered or analyzed. For a selected alternatives, it is essential to discuss both advantages and disadvantages. Every idea or every assumption may have its certain limitations. So the moderator should ensure that the idea selected by him has more advantages than the limitations. And next step is discuss the concerns. Concerns relating to the selected idea should be properly dealt in by a moderator, and which is very much important for an organization. See, before finalizing any idea, the moderator should consider the concerns of all the participants involved in the process. Why? Because the moderator cannot ignore the serious concern, if any, that is associated with an idea. If he ignores such concerns, they may turn out to be a serious problem later. And so discussing the concerns with all the participants about a particular idea is very much important on the part of moderator. And the last step in brainstorming session is action plan and implementation. After an idea is finalized, I said you in previous steps, the idea will be finalized. So in last step you have something to do, that is, after an idea is finalized, action plans should be prepared. At this stage, the decision maker should pay proper attention for minute details, that is, while preparing an action plan on the idea finalized. Event management requires precision plans and execution in this step. And this is how the brainstorming process goes on, that is, searching for solutions for a particular problem. And for searching the solutions, the team members will be nominated by a moderator. They will be explained with the problem and the constraints, and hence asked for a free flow of thoughts or ideas. Here we have types of brainstorming. Some of them are free writing. Free writing brainstorming is you will have to write down the first thought that comes to one's mind, and it can be used when there is not enough information available to begin with. And next type of brainstorming is bullet points. For every idea listed in free writing, you will have to try adding on a sub points or a bullet points. And next is time traveling. In this techniques, imagine you have gone back 50 years or ahead by 50 years and then do the thinking to generate ideas. And next technique is webbing. This is a technique where you will write an idea in the center of a sheet of paper, circle and write something similar to that, and continue the process and continue the process till you fill up the page. After filling the page, you will get a form of web, and this is called webbing technique in brainstorming. And last technique is brain exchange technique. This is very much similar to free writing. Once the first set of thoughts are written, the members in the team exchange the papers and write more ideas based on what the other person has written. Say for example, the thoughts of A is exchanged with B, and B with C, and C with A. Here each member's sheet or thoughts is exchanged with the different members. So this process works well when the idea generation has to happen at multi-level process. The session continues until the last process is reached. Adding on to this, you have some of the advantages in brainstorming. Like advantages might go like this: it can be used by people from all walks of life, like it can be used by students, it can be used by working professionals, it can be used in organization, it can be used by housewife, it can be used by your friends. Like this, it can be used by the people from all the walks of life. And the second advantage would be, in a workplace, it creates a repository of ideas for solving immediate and sometimes the future problems too. And this allows every participant to have equal chance to voice out their thoughts without fear and prejudice. And the next advantage is, participating employees experience a creative process where they can allow them to learn and explore themselves more such options in the future. And the next advantage is employees feel acknowledged because their thoughts have given importance in the brainstorming process. Following the advantages, we also have some disadvantages of brainstorming, and it goes like this. Many ideas generated obviously leads one to confusion, and some ideas might work well but have a constraints of financial or a cost obstacles. And next would be, although the process of brainstorming was a bias free, but during implementation hampered by a prejudice and waste of an entire process might happen. Brainstorming, one more disadvantage is it might be time consuming and thus needs the employees to spend time away from their core duties. And next is, cooperation and approval of the top management is essential, and it is very much necessary for such activities to be conducted where the management can't concentrate on their core activities. These are the disadvantages of brainstorming. And next we have writings for the public relations. Writings for the public relations. See, a public relation is as we discussed, a public relation is an activity where information flows from an organization to the external world. External world is your stakeholders. See, the information about the organization is your upcoming projects, about your products, about your ideas, about your financial investments. You have to keep on informing this to your stakeholders. Information quality, before passing on any information to the public, the quality of the information must be accurate or very good. Information provided should be clear and accurate because it is very much necessary to maintain the reputation of your company, and this happens only through a well maintained public relations. So here we have some of the points which has to be noted while writing information for a public relation. That is, when you are passing on any information to the public, you will have to write it, you will have to jot down it. Before writing the information which has to be passed to a public, you will have to take care, you have to be quite conscious in the following aspects. The first one is the impact and the cost of careless errors. See, while writing information, one should be very cautious. As I said you, carelessness in writing may destroy the image of a company, and obviously it reduces the goodwill in the market. Wrong information to the outside world may bring negative impact on the relationship of the company. So it is very much necessary for a person who is in charge of a public relation that he has to check the information before it is released to the public reference. And next point is editing and writing. See, before the information is released to the public, the in charge, that is a public relation head of a event management company, should edit and read the content many times before the final information is released to the public. Here, tone of the message and accuracy of the information should be ensured whenever the information is released to the public, and it is duty of a public relation officer again. And next point you will have to concentrate is, that is the misconception of a spelling check. See, many a time we underestimate the importance of checking spellings and grammar. Though we may think that we are experts in writing, it is a good practice to check the information for spelling and grammar, as we are humans and errors is common. Improper sentence construction and spelling mistakes may bring bad reputation to the company. The basic purpose of public relation is to connect to the external world with the right information. See, and this might not fail with the wrong spelling or a grammar mistakes. And next is editing techniques and editor marks. While editing the text, the editor is expected to use marks for correcting, like changing paragraphs, or like changing the tone of the sentence, or change in words, and it might require, some might require a tick marks or a into marks, and he has to ensure that the right marks are used at the right place. So these tools and marks must be made known to the assistants of the editorial team. While finalizing the write-up, the staff should carefully incorporate such corrections. And next is the most common errors are made every day. One must be very careful in not repeating same errors daily. So it is better to check for those repeated errors then and there only. The team members should learn not to commit the same errors every day, and if the errors are repeated every day, most of the time is spent in correcting such routine errors where you cannot concentrate on a core activities, and such errors will bring down the confidence of the superiors on the team members. And next is striving for clarity. As stated earlier, the basic purpose of a public relation is to establish a strong relationship with the external world. External world here is your stakeholders, and hence it is necessary for the company to be clear regarding the purpose of each communication. In this direction, companies should strive very much hard to maintain transparency in whatever it is conveying to the external world. And last one is, the style, striving for clarity is followed with style and the universal ideas. See, while writing any communication, a company should use a unique style. Unique style is special style. A style of writing should attract the readers. The style should be simple at the same time and candid. Information given should be complete and accurate here. The flow of information should be planned in advance so that it has to be accurate and easily understood by any person reads the information. So there should be connectivity between statements and between the paragraphs too. Here, idea flow should not be scattered in the whole communication process, but readers should understand the basic idea behind the communication, and this is very much necessary. So these are the writings for public relations. Writings here is, that is the aspects where you have to be very much careful while drafting the information what you are conveying to your stakeholders. So you have to be very much careful in the following aspects while drafting the information, and this is the duty of a public relation officer in the event management company. And the next thing is public relations strategy and planning. See, developing a public relations strategy is instrumental to influence the public image of an organization. A good strategy can help build rapport with customers, employees and the general public. See, here the goal of public relation would be to have a good reputation and recognition of company's name in the community. So, public relations strategy should have the following aspects as listed here. The aspects are as follows. First would be discovery. See, the organization should have a goal to create a positive relationship with everyone they interact with. Not only stakeholders, with everyone they interact with. So, the company should know the audience who are regularly interacting with the company. The identification of part of the society that is regularly interacting with the company will certainly help to know what company intends to do to the society. Say for example, a company may decide to help building small shelters for houseless people in the society, and this helps company to discover various avenues in which such help can be given to the target audience. So you will have to take a role of discovering on what the target audience is really needed. And next strategy is public relation plan. Here public relation plan might also be noted as a public relation goals or objectives, and it goes like this. developing a public relation goals or objective or a plan is very much similar to establishing business goals, and this should be done as a part of a strategic planning process. See, public relation goals and objectives should be focused on communicating what was learned in the discovery phase, that is previous step. It is very important to have a well thought out communication plan for employees, the general public, and those who interact with the organization. See, an important part of the plan is the identification of the person who speaks on behalf of the organization, the message that will be communicated as well as the tone of the message. And the third strategy is a public relation policy. Every organization, no matter how large or small, ultimately depends on its reputation for the survival and success of the business in the market. Hence, effective public relation can help manage reputation by communicating and building good relationships with all organization stakeholders. And so, it is very much necessary for the company to write the public relation policies in clear terms. So, these terms should be made known to people in the organization. And next is the plan implementation. Implementing the plan according to the policy requires budgeting, scheduling and a specific program as per the plan. See, budgeting and timing of implementation is critical to any end result. And next, the last one is evaluation. Evaluation is very much important where the performance, this strategy is very much important to evaluate the performance of how well the plan is working. A good public relations strategy can help build relationships with customers, investors, donors, employees and the general public too. So, it is critical for the organization to evaluate the strategy continuously and modify them according to the changes that are taking place in the business environment. So, this is all about public relations strategy and a planning where a public relation officer has to work. Thank you.